somebody that can get a job done? Can you get the job done effectively, what we ask you to do, whether it's go and produce revenue and go and sign up college students or accountants, financial managers. So it's important to you too, whether you're a student who's looking for your first job or whether you're a leader and a leader of a team inside an organization. And so we're spend a few minutes together, and really, since it's Friday night and there's a bar back there, I'm just going to make one point. And I'll support it with a few pieces of evidence why it's happening. And I've already heard from conversations I've had tonight why it's happening. And then I'm going to talk about what we can do about it, what we can all do about it. And here it is. That the best people in your organization are looking for new opportunities. And I've already heard it in our conversations that this is going on. And really, good people are always looking for good opportunities. But right now, it's a very unique time for us, and a door is opening with regards to, I call them high performers, top talent, a lot of you, people in this room. So, some of you have experienced this probably. In fact, I was speaking at a conference recently with mid-market accounting firm CEOs, and I asked the room, how many of you have lost a profitable high performer in the last 12 months? And every single person raised their hand. And I asked them, well, how many of you were trying to grow before you lost your key employee? And most of them raised their hand. They're like, well, now we're 2 steps back. So it's a problem, and we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about it. And when we do, I'm going to talk about why it's happening, and then some thoughts, strategies for those of you who lead to improve talent management. Because, like me, it's the difference between success and failure in whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So why it's happening is there's an incredible job market for accounting and financial talent. For senior accounting professionals here in the U.S., it's the best job market in decades. If you're an accounting student in the room, it's the best job market that has ever been in the history of the profession in the United States. Isn't that phenomenal? We live in a very interesting time, and it's very exciting. And I know that a lot of you are students. I'll be here the rest of the evening until they kick us out. If you want to talk about your own job search, I'd love to speak with you about that. So because of this great market, the race for talent is getting tighter. It's becoming harder for us who lead teams to hire good people. Gary Shamus is the head of SS&G, the top 200 accounting firm based here in the United States. He lives this problem firsthand, and he speaks often on it. And he talks about that the race for talent is tight today, but it's only getting tighter over 10 years. And some of the reasons you're aware of: retirements. Okay, it's a coming trend for all financial institutions, but also increasing regulation, increasing niche opportunities. And he's right. So our organizations are losing key people, and I would add 2 pieces to that, to Gary's point. One is global mobility. A lot of people want to experience global opportunities. I've talked to those of you in the room who are not from the United States and are here on international positions, and vice versa. People want to gain that experience in their resume. They're leaving some of the institutions here in the United States. And the other one is something that we kind of uncovered in working with 600 employers of accountants here in the United States, and that is flexible work arrangements. People want to get out of the full-time position. They've earned a wonderful skill, and maybe they want to work tax season and not work the rest of the year. So, like I said, an open door. And I mentioned earlier, the high performers in your organization, if they find a better fit or a better opportunity, they may jump ship. One of the reasons we found this is happening is a little bit of a lack of trust that's happened, and this always tends to happen in economies. When you have a recession, bad things happen inside an organization, right? It gets very tough. We have to make tough decisions, and high performers are sometimes locked out of those decisions. When that happens to a solid performer, they lose a little trust in the organization. That's a downer. Maybe they're passed up for partnerships or promotions. When these things stack up and then the economy rebounds again like we're seeing, they might be looking. They might be looking for greener pastures. And then lastly, so we have this phenomenal job market. The race is tightening, and high performers are looking openings. But the good news is there's never been a better time to use technology to recruit, and there's never been a time to use technology to find job opportunities. So these high performers are using all kinds of different websites to find their next great employer. And what's amazing about, since our economy has sort of hit a recession and come back, is the proliferation of social media and wonderful sites like LinkedIn, where, you know, we're being bombarded with job opportunities now. It's a good problem to have, right? Well, they're using sites like Twitter and LinkedIn and my sites, Accounting Fly and College Frog, to find opportunities. And you as employers, you should be using them too, all of them. A lot of them are not, a lot of them don't cost anything at all. But the impact is pretty substantial. So we spent some time talking to firms earlier this year, and I won't go through every bullet point, but I do want to talk about like how the race is getting interesting for talent and some of the common frustrations that employers of financial talent are complaining about. If you're a mid-market firm, you're mad at the Big Four because they're getting all the best students on campus, right? But if you're at the Big Four, you're mad at corporations like Google, who give stock options and high base offers in states like California, and you're frustrated by that. So there's always somebody larger coming around and sort of upping the ante for talent. A lot of firms quit campus recruiting altogether. They want to just do experienced recruiting. I'm curious if any of you fall into that. Low interest in moving to my city. Not this city, I'm sure. Maybe a city that takes 3 days to get to from here, but talk to a lot of people who say the process of recruiting is so frustrating that we miss out on hiring good people just because the process is difficult. For those in your room, I'd be curious after we talk if you have any stories about that. But there's so much data entry in the recruiting process that candidates get slipped through the cracks. And I have to tell you, high performers, they're not waiting around for your job offer. They have job offers from other people, and you can't wait. You can't let bad process hinder you. Okay, so this is kind of the exciting thing about a person who somehow ended up in the job board industry. We're not the first industry to go through these frustrations. Big corporations that have very large recruiting budgets, some of my old clients have been through this too, and they've already invested in solutions. They've put people on the problem. They've put money into the problem, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel on how to compete for talent, but we can learn from what they've done. In a startup, there are so many decisions that I have to make on a daily basis. If somebody else has thought about it, I don't need to think about it. If it's good enough for LinkedIn, we're good to go on Accounting Fly. So let me show you a playbook for corporations that we used to work with. 3 simple tools, and I hope these are effective, and I welcome your feedback. And I also welcome your questions when we end up. Let's get our heads around focusing on talent more than geography. A lot of you do college recruiting, for example. Maybe you recruit in the local schools right by your office. That's great. But why not also leverage the internet and let the internet work for you to make connections with people that want to move to your city? Are you selling your location, whether it's New York City or Pensacola, Florida, in every piece of communication you're giving out to a potential recruit? I would hope so. It's very important. And when I